Great. So my name is Molly. I work for TrailNet. I've been around for 26 years now. I'm proud of that. And we just are welcoming a brand new CEO. So we might be going a few different directions starting in the next few years. So I'm going to talk about shifting your commute today. Thinking outside the car. Because when you think about it, cars keep you sedentary. They keep you sitting in traffic. And it also releases carbon emissions into the environment. And it's eating up gas that costs a whole lot of money. And as gas prices continue to rise, not only gas prices, but also the cost of just car ownership and maintenance continues to rise. According to AAA, the average cost of maintaining a car each year is over $9,000, and that's not including a car payment. So it's getting more and more expensive to drive. And so we're going to talk about different ways to address that. So we're going to talk about why and how to make biking a part of your life. Some people say, why would I bike in St. Louis? I mean, it's so easy to drive. We have highways that go right through the city. It's just, why would I bother? But we're going to talk about how to ride safe, how to arrive at your destinations and not be a sweaty mess, and how to get started and how to keep track of your progress. So our mission at TrailNet is to lead and foster, whoa, that was weird. Lead in fostering healthy, active, and vibrant communities where walking, bicycling, and the use of public transit are a way of life. We have some work to do in this area, in the St. Louis region. I think part of it is population decline, but population starting to rise again. We can start investing more in these alternative options. Like I said, we've been around for 26 years. We're leaders in promoting active living. We have just under 2,000 members. As a nonprofit, membership does support much of the work that we do. And just as of a few weeks ago, we are an officially recognized platinum level bicycle friendly business. Really excited about that. And we produce policy work, urban planning, and programming to help make car-free transportation more of a reality for residents. We realize that some people can't get to work without a car. They literally cannot. That's a very real situation. We do work to help provide those options for people who don't want to spend over $9,000 a year on a car anymore. We produce tons of events, all kinds of ways to get involved all year round, and we do reach the Illinois side as well. St. Louis is a bronze level bicycle friendly community. Like I said earlier, there's still a lot of work to do. There are more bike lanes to be put down. There is driver's education. In the state of Missouri, driver's education is not required. So you get people who cram enough just to pass the test, and then they get a driver's license. So we promote increased driver's education, even though it's not required, making sure that it's offered and available. We helped pass a complete streets policy in the city and recently St. Louis County. Does anyone have any idea what complete streets means? Some people think, well, it's a street. What else do you need? A complete street is a street that is designed for all users, placing people as the priority over cars. So in order of priority, pedestrians are put first, then people on bicycles, then people using public transit, and then private automobiles. And the reason for that is you think about the vulnerability involved. Pedestrians are by far the most vulnerable people on the roadway. You're crossing a street, it's just you. Whereas if you go down the line, down the other side of the spectrum, if you're in a car, you're encased in, 2,000 to 6,000 pounds of metal. So there's a power dynamic there. So street design can profoundly affect our experience. So that's just one part of making sure that these choices are more accessible for everyone. We did also help promote a bike parking ordinance for any construction projects in the city of St. Louis that exceed $1 million. So larger commercial districts, bicycle parking is required for those establishments. Currently, there are 77 miles of Bike St. Louis routes, and I have some Bike St. Louis maps here with me today. Not a ton of them, I just brought the ones we have, it's hard to keep them around. Oh, great.
We have some too. So
you guys have some
we
too.
have more than enough. So
perfect.
Yeah.
We fly through them at all of our events. And just some clarification, so TrailNet provides education and advocacy and programming. We do not actually build or design the actual bike lanes you see in St. Louis. That work is done by Great Rivers Greenway. They are a tax district, and residents of St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles County have voted to tax ourselves twice in the last 15 years for better access to biking and walking. So that is what funds Great Rivers Greenway, and they actually produce the bike lanes, the trails, things like that. And they also, so we work with Great Rivers Greenway a lot to provide recommendations. When it comes down to it, they actually manage the regional bike master plan. So some of you might be thinking, cool, all right, I support that, that sounds good. I haven't been on a bike since I was 7 years old. And the idea of getting out there and biking in traffic can sound really intimidating. I've been there. When I started biking for transportation, I was a poor college student. I rode a bike because I didn't really have a choice. My bus route got cut, so I just kind of went for it. I had no idea what I was doing. But there are all kinds of ways to learn and get involved and practice and try it out. We have tons of events at TrailNet, different ways to start getting involved and to practice riding in traffic. This is our annual event calendar, all kinds of stuff. Because biking is a pretty seasonal activity, I mean, you can do it in the winter if you bundle up just right, but ice can be really dangerous. So right around now, our season kind of starts to wind down, but it still has tons of information. A lot of these events will be reproduced next year as well, so you're welcome to take one of these. But we offer all kinds of events. We offer classes on how to bike in traffic. They're hands-on, you're actually on your bike, and we have certified bike safety instructors to teach you how to do it. We have group rides where we take neighborhood tours. For instance, we did a bakery tour in June that was so much fun. That was really, really fun. We did a tour of the major art museums in St. Louis, which was really cool. So not only is it a way to go out and experience the neighborhood and discover new places that you might not have been to before, it also is a group setting for you to practice riding in the streets, and can make you say, oh, driving, I never would have known this little tiny beautiful side street was here. I'm going to remember this. So it's a really great way to get started. And biking for transportation sounds like it will take forever, but really in so many ways it actually saves you a lot of time. When you think about the fact that it's physical activity, you're getting cardio exercise built into your daily routine. So exercise like, oh gosh, I should really go for a walk, or I should go to the gym, oh, but I'm so busy. You don't have to find the time to do that. It's already a part of your day. Just a personal note, when I started biking for transportation, not really because I wanted to, it was really because I had to, I lost 70 pounds in 1 year. And that was the only change that I made. And that was really a gateway for me to become more active. Because before, exercising when I was heavier was embarrassing. I thought, wow, like, oh, I can't go for a run. People will think I'm ridiculous, or I don't know what I'm doing. I was always picked last in gym class. I'm really bad at catching things. So team sports were never really accessible for me. But biking to work just transformed my life. It also helped me quit smoking because my lungs couldn't take it anymore. And so I just quit smoking without even trying, without even realizing it. So it can really transform your life. and it sneaks up on you. It also prolongs your life then when your health is improved. And you get sick less often when you're exercising regularly, so you don't waste that money and that time visiting the doctor. And also, in a more abstract way, when you think about the percentage of your paycheck that goes towards your car, it can be really profound. And I wouldn't expect anyone in this room today to say, oh, that's it, I'm getting rid of my car tomorrow. I mean, I have a car. For the first time in my life, I bought a car at age 27. And it was really liberating because there are times where you need a car and it's really convenient. I love to go hiking, I love to go camping. I have a car, I have my monthly insurance payments, but I would say I fill my gas tank, gosh, maybe once a month, every 2 months. And my tank is about $40 to fill it. So really, that's a really profound difference that it makes in my life. Having access to my car, but not feeling dependent on it, and not sucking money straight out of my wallet. And it also helps redefine oil dependency. We are talking about energy efficiency today. By using your own muscle power, you're running on vegetable oil and olive oil and healthy fats rather than oil that's brought in from overseas and it's so expensive. And so it's just a different way of thinking about it. So a few tips. Obviously this is, you would need more information than this to just get out there and bike to work. But one of the most important things to bear in mind, and even if you're not going to start biking to work, this is still good information to be aware when you see cyclists out on the roads. One of the most important things is to be a vehicle. Bicycles have the same rights and responsibility as vehicles. And according to law in Missouri, cyclists are to ride as far right as is safe. The reason it's phrased that way is because there are times where, for safety, a cyclist has to ride down the middle of the lane. And it may seem really inconvenient if you're in a car behind them. Like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever and I don't have a chance to pass them. When you think about it, take a closer look at the surroundings and think about why they might be doing it. If the lane is particularly narrow and it would be unsafe for a car to pass right next to them, by taking the lane and riding down the center of it, that is forcing the cars behind them to hold off on passing until it's safe to do so. So really, what's more important, their health and comfort and safety, or you saving 30 seconds of your day? So again, it goes back to priorities, about complete streets, thinking about they're obviously doing this for a reason. If it's not because the lane is too narrow, it might be because there's broken glass on the side of the road. It might be because if it's a heavily traveled commercial district, for instance, in the Loop on Del Mar, if there are parallel parked cars, it can be really dangerous to ride right next to those cars because if someone throws open their car door, I mean, that can kill people. Not necessarily from the impact of the door itself, but by being thrown into traffic. So it can be really dangerous. So it might seem on the surface, it's so frustrating. Oh, why are they riding down the middle of the lane? But chances are they're doing it for a very good reason, and if you're in a car, it might be difficult to see that at first. That said, from the perspective of a bicycle, it can feel really intimidating to do that. You see the lane narrows ahead of you, and you're like, oh gosh, I gotta take the lane, and there are all these cars behind me, oh, they're gonna be mad at me. The best thing you can do is to just do it. Most of the time, no one will honk at you, it'll be okay, just do it. The more people that are educated, the more people will understand why cyclists do this. And if someone does honk at you or yell at you, just smile and wave at them. They could probably use it. If they're that stressed out, they could probably use a friendly smile. That's the way that I look at it. And a lot of people get up in arms about cyclists always blow through stop signs. Some cyclists blow through stop signs. You remember the cyclists that blow through stop signs. You don't remember the ones who are doing it right because they're not causing a problem. I would also argue that plenty of people in cars blow through stop signs. And nobody says, every driver blows through stop signs. I think it's because there's so fewer cyclists out there that people see a few bad ones, and so it becomes easy to make blanket statements. Most cyclists who commute know what they're doing, or have actually studied, have taken classes, have done research online about how to bike in traffic. It's also extremely important to be visible. Law requires you have a front white light and at least a rear reflector. At TrailNet, we don't think that's enough. We think that everyone should have rear lights as well. Because the thing with reflectors, they only reflect if light is shining directly on them. So if a tail light, or if a car's headlight isn't shining directly on that reflector, it doesn't really help a whole lot. So lights are really important. I brought some here today. They're pretty bright, but they're really easy to attach on and off. They fit any bike frame because they're like a rubber attacher, and they're rechargeable also. So when I bike to work, and now especially that it's getting darker, I'll plug them in as soon as I get to work, and then that way they're charged and ready to go when I leave the office at the end of the day. Reflective accessories are also great to have. Jackets, hats, ankle straps, which are also useful because they keep your pant leg from getting caught in your chain. And again, this is another situation where taking the lane is also appropriate. If you're too far off to the right, sometimes street lights come out over the street, and so you're not lit up at all. So even with lights, it can be tricky to be seen. To also be predictable, using hand signals is the law. It's pretty straightforward. This means right, however, this also means right. More and more people don't know what this means anymore. Again, driver's ed is not required in Missouri, so, but this is legal, but this is a little bit clearer. You can't mistake what this means. However, if you are right-handed and don't feel comfortable taking your right hand off the handlebars, this works just great. In fact, you can even go like this, like actually point to get the message across. Who knows the signal to indicate you're stopping or slowing down? Yep, this got it. Yep, just one hand straight out. And even if someone doesn't know what that means, if they've never seen that before, you can easily infer, like, oh, hold it, hold back. Like I said earlier, stop at all lights and stop signs and ride in a straight line. Sometimes newer riders might have a tendency to move over when there's gaps in parallel parked cars. Like there are like one or two parked cars, and then there's a big stretch where there aren't, and then there are more parallel parked cars. Actually, what you want to do is stay in the traffic lane. The reason for that is because it's unpredictable to dart over to the right in the parking lane and then dart back into traffic. By just traveling calmly and steadily in a straight line, there are no surprises. So ways that you can commute to work. You can leave clothing for the week at your workplace. I have one pair of brown shoes and one pair of black shoes that I just keep under my desk, just in case I have an off day and forget something. And it also depends how far away you live. For some people, you can just change your shirt and you're good as new. On a particularly hot day, you might want to take some baby wipes or rinse your face off in the sink in the bathroom. And you can also leave other toiletries at your workplace. So just get there a little bit early. If you have shower access, great. But for a lot of people who may not have shower access, there are all kinds of ways that you can think outside the box a little bit. Keep basic toiletries in a baggie in your desk drawer. Show up a few minutes early to cool down and let the redness leave your face and stop sweating. And just take a few minutes and just spruce yourself up a little bit. But distance and heat, experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment, especially if you have a supportive culture at work. If you have a boss that says, hey, that's great, go for it. You might just want to give them a heads up. Hey, I might look a little disheveled on this day. I'm still experimenting. You know, open up that dialogue with your employer. That can be really useful in showing your employer that this is important to you. And you might be surprised. You might say, hey, I'll join you. You can set a goal. You can challenge yourself, challenge your friends or your coworkers. Try to fill the bike racks. This is a photo on Bike to Work Day at Bungie International. It's a nice example. But even if you're not ready to bike to work, say you have a really, professional, you have to look professional, you have to be totally crisp and clean, you're not ready to start biking to work yet. All trips make a difference, even if it's just to the grocery store, or to run errands, or to a friend's house. Every trip matters. And so one thing that you can do to get started is to think about where you live and think about a 20-minute radius around you, by bike or by foot. And for 1 month, try biking and walking within that radius as much as you can. See what happens. Another thing you can do is just try it 1 day a week. Just 1 day a week. Say, I'm not going to use my car today, and see what happens. And try to get the whole family on board. If you have kids, like, oh, I have soccer practice, and then I have this, and then I have this. Well, carpool with friends. Let's figure this out. Make a plan. One of the best things you can do is plan ahead, and then that way it just becomes easier and you don't have to think so much about it. It just starts to become second nature. Another thing you can do is go multimodal. Bicycles are allowed on buses and trains, and one thing that is wonderful about this Anchor to Oliver neighborhood is the proximity to public transit. That is huge, especially when the Metrolink here in St. Louis has plenty of room to grow. So living so close to a Metrolink stop is a wonderful asset. So even if you don't want to bike to the metro station, just walk to it. Go downtown, go to a concert or the blues game, and leave the car at home, and see how your experience changes. Also, you might start seeing things in new places that you might not have ever seen before, because things just look so different from the perspective of a bus or a bicycle or on foot. To keep up motivation, you can bike pool to work, or other events, like kids at soccer practice, things like that. It's what it sounds like, just like a carpool, except you meet up by bike. It can be a really neat way to maintain accountability with your peers. When you know someone is waiting for you at a specific time on a certain day, you better be there. So you might wake up and say, oh gosh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this. It's amazing how it feels once you get out there and you just do it. Does anyone here work downtown? Just one? Okay. Well, we do have a downtown bicycle station that is a really tremendous asset for the downtown employee community. Secure indoor bike parking, complete with showers and hair dryers and everything. And it's also connected to a bike shop. So if something goes wrong on your commute in, they can work on your bike while you're at work, and it's ready to go by the end of the day. Another thing we have, and this is good for commutes to work or to the grocery store, anything at all, shiftyourcommute.com. This is a resource to log your car-free trips. So recreational trips do not count. A lap around Forest Park just for the sake of going for a bike ride doesn't count. Because what we're interested to find out is the pounds of carbon emissions saved by using your own 2 feet, your bicycle, or public transit by not turning on your car. And so as you log trips, that data is automatically generated. And we have challenge months. In the months of February, May, and September, if you log your car-free trips, you're eligible for prizes. So it's kind of a way to keep you motivated, keep your head in the game. but it's also really neat to see your results stack up. So this is the home page. You can sign up as a solo rider, or you can make a team. You can even make a Skinker to Bolivar team if you wanted to. It'd be kind of fun. And you can see this is the number of trips that people have taken. This is the miles they have traveled, and this is their rate, their car-free commute rate out of the whole month. All kinds of teams. This is just one page. I think we're at 800 teams now. And this is your trip log. So here you see, again, trips, miles, commute rate for an individual user. So each day you just click on the day of the week and indicate if you walked, took the bus, took the train, or your bicycle. And it automatically calculates for you calories burned, which is another great motivator, and pounds of CO2 saved by not turning on your car. And a profile page. And that's it. Any questions? Any burning questions about biking or walking or transit? Yeah?
Where's a good place to get equipment for your bike? Like if you have a bike but you don't yet have lights, or you want to get a helmet?
Sure.
Or where can people find that sort of stuff?
So any bike shop should have these items. I will say lights are one area where you really get what you pay for. The more money you spend on your lights, the brighter and longer lasting they're going to be. And like I said, front and back lights are really important. Ooh, great. Here in the neighborhood, I would really recommend Big Shark in the Loop. It's really close by. They really know their stuff. They're really great at finding things that work for you. And they can order a lot of things. So if there's just something you have in mind, and if they just don't have quite what you're looking for, don't be afraid to talk to them and ask to see if they can order it. Or find what it is you want online, print it out, and take it to them and buy local. One of the best things you can do is support your local bike shop. Tell them about the products that you want to see. That's the only way they know how to carry them. So really encourage you to shop local if you can. A little bit more about equipment. One of the best things that you can invest in is a rack. This cost about $40 to be installed, and it's amazing how this can transform your bicycle experience. You can strap things straight to it right on top, or this style of bag that hangs off the side is called a pannier. I can pack, gosh, a week and a half's worth of groceries on one bicycle trip. And you can also attach a basket also, so you can just drop things in there and go. But that's one of the best investments you can make, and that's really the key to making sure that bicycling for transportation can work for you. So think about the trips that you make on any given day. You go to the grocery store, you might run to the bank, you might even be dropping off kids at school. And you could even think about biking to school with your kids. It's more quality time that you get to spend with them. It's getting them energized and ready for the day, and it's also giving you time to get out on your bike. So getting a rack can really transform how you plan your trips and how you plan your day and the places you need to go. Any other questions? All right, well, I have some information. I can leave these on the back table. I have our ride calendars, and I also have wallet-sized summaries of Missouri bicycle laws. Yes, and Bike St. Louis maps as well, Kelsey has. And these Missouri bicycle laws are really useful. You might learn something. There are some things on here that a lot of people don't know. So take a few if you like, if you know someone who might especially benefit from having them. Sometimes I even hand them out to strangers. I see bad behavior. And I also have a card on Bike Commuting 101 that talks a lot about what I just went over. And yeah, I can leave my business card as well if anyone has any questions. So thanks so much. I appreciate it.